it's, you know, the Freedom Wake is many things. It's awake is a celebration to the freedom of who we are, in the core of who we are. But a Freedom Wake is also a process, which could entail a lot of things that will help you to awaken to that freedom, be it the healings and be it the letting go and all of that. And personally, I mean, my wake to freedom happened when I surrendered because I was having what I believe to be a nervous breakdown. Now, or a spiritual breakthrough, however you want to look at it. And I chose to simply, I was brought to a point in my life where I had hit rock bottom, even though the outside world didn't realize any of that was going on. It was inside. Mm-hmm. And I was getting, you know, sick and just all of those sorts of things. And I put out a call that was basically, take me or use me. I did not know what any of that meant. Did not have a clue, but it was just, I didn't know anything else to say at that particular moment. And that was the turning point in my world, because from that point forward, it was like I had lost my physical mind, which at that time was totally misguided in terms of who I thought I was.
Can you give me an example?
Yes. I had feelings of desperation, like heart-wrenching desperation, like I was desperate for something but I didn't know what that was. I had no creativity coming through me. I was surviving in a mode of just trying to get through the days. So call it depression, call it whatever, I had no idea. I really didn't spend much time thinking about this. It was just, I guess I had protected myself, and then I got to a point where I had hit the wall and it just had to break. And I can't tell you, I mean, I do believe, on a physical I can't tell you how it happened, but on a deeper level I know exactly why it happened, because I was breaking patterns, energetic patterns, to a life that I was living that it really wasn't mine. And my faith has always been strong from the time that I've been born. And I mean, I thank my parents very much for providing that guidance. It's in the faith, and so something needed to come out, and that's just how it manifested for me. And I mean, for you, it might manifest in a different way. It might manifest now because of our connection. For you out there, it may have already happened, or it's about to happen. And either way, it's all okay, because that's just the natural process. So, what you choose to do with it.
Okay, so let's talk for a minute then, though, about, well, I want to talk more about kind of the process of the Freedom Wake, but maybe before we get into that, if you could share with us a little bit about the healing process. You talked about the fact that you do heart work with people. So when you say heart work, what is heart work? Like what does that mean? You know, there's obviously some reason people feel compelled to come and see you.
Yes.
Based probably on the fact that they've been referred to you by somebody, because we've talked before, and that's really kind of how most people find you.
Yes, I don't advertise.
But so talk about the idea of the heart work and kind of how that ties into the process that you started to touch on when you talked about, because if I was to kind of paraphrase what you do, you really kind of help take people from where they are and the way in which they presently see themselves, and allow them to shift so that they become more in tune with
themselves,
who they really are.
Yes.
Like, is that a fair way of
That's a totally fair way, because if you ask me what, you know, Kathy, what do you do? I'm going to say, geez, Lauren, I don't know. I show up and say yes, and I open my door to people who have been guided in some capacity to find me. The whole premise of never advertising, it certainly wasn't a mind marketing thing. It was just how it happened, because I never set out to do this. I've and I don't know what this is. That's the whole thing. What I can tell you is, based on seeing hundreds and hundreds of people, the one thread that is consistent through their words would be the fact that I offer a very safe and trusting place. That I will take credit for. What happens when someone crosses the threshold and we shut the door behind and they enter into that sacred space, I can't tell you. Not because it's confidential, but because I can't tell you. Because it is that person's unique experience.
Right, and we talked about this before, and I think that's, you know, because I'm coming from this from a practical perspective.
Yes.
I'm saying, okay, so tell me what your process is, right? If, you know, if I look at you as sort of a practitioner, every practitioner has a process
Yes.
that they follow, and what you said that I thought was quite interesting is, well, it is whatever it is.
Yes.
Because what it is, it just kind of depends on the individual involved.
Yes. See, the crucial starting point for any wake to freedom, for any movement, whatever you want to call it, is you have to have courage. You have to have some element of courage that's funneling through you enough to take that step into the unknown. Be it meeting with someone who you don't know, but someone close to you has, you know, most people will say, I can't tell you what she does, but what I can tell you is you need to go. So if you can believe that, and that's really, Freedom Wake is all about belief. I mean, it's about all of these other elements, but I mean, belief. Like, if you don't have the willingness, then you're never going to hear that invitation, and at that point, you're never going to, you know, take the physical steps to find. Where it gets interesting with me is the basis of my work is faith, as I've shared. And that has really defined the whole experience. Which is why there has been no advertising, which is why it's not about marketing, which is why it's not about I can heal you, I can fix you. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, I mean, just for the benefit of people watching, you kind of, initially when we were talking, you kind of railed at the notion of being labeled a healer.
Yes.
And I thought it was quite
and I
interesting
still do,
because
I
said,
cringe,
because it was
actually.
like, well, so then what else are you? If you know, and we like to and often need to attach labels to things because it's a way that allows us to then kind of gain clarity and understanding around
Yes.
them. And I thought it was interesting that you yourself, you mentioned that like whatever you are or where you are now has kind of been an unfolding of
Yes.
its own
Yes.
for you. So it's been your freedom wake.
Yes.
And you know, certainly there are elements of healing that are kind of a part of that, and
Yes.
part of the gift that you're able to give other people.
Well, it's interesting because yes to all of that, and that actually is what the offering is. It is, the only thing that I signed up to do was to honor the call. When I said take me or use me, this is the playground I was put in, and I all of a sudden had people coming to my door.